It's just wonderful, you know, to be able to use this vessel for a day like today. You know, she represents the early trade between northern Tasmania and the mainland way back in the 1800s. Today came about by the history group that's in Port Sorell. They've gone to a lot of trouble with the cargo as it was, delivered it as it was.
I'm 88 years old. I've lived in this district all my life. We're at Squeaking Point. Many years ago it was the main loading place in Port Sorell estuary. The main produce was wattlebark, timber, pavings went to South Australia, but one very interesting one was swan's meat and swan's down, the down of cygnets. The fairly poor soils around Port Sorell were a good habitat for wattlebark. Trees would be barked by the early settlers, dried and put in bundles and carted away to Launceston or even to England. Wattlebark powder is rich in tannins, richer than the English oak trees for tanning leather. There were probably 6 or 7 vessels a week coming in the 1850s, 60s, 70s. The produce of a place like Port Sorell, lime and pavings to build the early buildings at the Port Phillip settlement, which later was called Melbourne. Vessels coming in from Victoria had to be loaded with ballast, and you would have seen ballast being thrown overboard from this vessel as it came into port today.
Shell Island was an island in the middle of the estuary. Tom Rogers had a vegetable proposition on East Coast spuds and veggies for the boats as they came into port, and he used to row his dinghy out to supply the ships. He also used to do the oyster shells and crush them for the lime. On the island there were some bushrangers captured Tom Rogers and they went to Squeaking Point. They had a shootout with the police. One of the bushranger, Jeffers, got shot, killed.
In this reenactment we've been past a place called Mary's Creek, currently a salt marsh wetland, but in the early days Mary Creek was very important for the boat building industry of Port Sorell. So one of the most important people in the pioneering days was Captain George Williams. So George was a very able person. He cut out his sails on the sand, he made his own ropes, had a bit of a dabble in the smuggling industry because he built an inn here at Port Sorell. Sailors could row 10 minutes up to the inn. To augment this profit, George would go over to Melbourne and buy illicit alcohol. But on the second reprimand, he actually did lose his licence.
And the Geordie Burgess really plays a very important role in the community. This event today was an opportunity for people to actually travel from Devonport around to Port Sorell. We've got a full complement of passengers today, which is brilliant.